I dropped by Toronto Audio Fest this year for a quick jaunt. I was mainly there for Marantz and their sneak peek new release of the Horizon speaker. Kind of awesome. But I did see some other things, but not enough for a full video tour. And if I'm being honest, video tours of audio shows are a little bit boring. But it got me thinking. Like, there's a lot of products at this show, products that I have yet to review or evaluate for an extended period. 2025 is coming up. I don't have a full calendar of slated products to review. So maybe I can shoot my shot in this video. And if you like this type of content, please either leave a comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do the notification thing. I'd really appreciate it. It'll help me build this channel and get more products in for review, products that I'm going to be begging for in this video. I'd appreciate it. And I'm a hugger, so if we see each other in the wild, let me know that you subscribe and I'll give you a hug. First up is Kef. Honestly, I would take anything Kef. I haven't heard a single Kef speaker to date, outside of hearing them in a big box store, which is probably the worst place that you can hear a pair of speakers. So chalk that up to me actually never hearing them in a properly controlled environment yet. Kef speakers marry beautiful industrial design with, from what I hear, is great sound. The new Q series seems to be right up my alley, especially that new Concerto speaker. I love three-way stand mount speakers, so let's chuck on the R3 Meta onto that list as well. And then there's also the LS50 Meta, which I really want to hear that speaker. Next up is Dali, mid-fi and lower. So I had the amazing opportunity of going to New York to hear the release of their new expanded Epicor range, but those were the first speakers from Dali that I ever heard. I hadn't heard any of the lower ranges. So below that, there's the Rubicor, there's the Rubicon, there's the Opticon, there's the Spectre, all of which fit different budgets and all of which must sound amazing because the Epicor sounded ridiculous. Next up is Paradigm, and seemingly how things have gone for most of my reviewing career at Home Theater Secrets is that I've gotten a chance to hear the amazing Founder 120Hs, but I haven't heard anything lower down in their speaker lineup. So same thing with the Dalis. Like, if the Founder sounded so good, what does everything below it sound like? So Paradigm, if you're watching, just send me everything. And then also, I hear your subs are really good, so, toss in a sub. I'd appreciate it. And of course, along with Paradigm is Martin Logan. And of course, I really want to hear their new updated Motion series. I got to hear the old ones and I thought those sounded amazing, but the new ones, haven't heard yet. And I also haven't heard any of those electrostatic speakers ever. And people talk about those like they are the bee's knees. So one day being able to get a hold of those would be pretty amazing too. Next up is Klipsch. Unbelievably, I haven't heard anything from this brand. And anytime that I do a speaker review, inevitably someone asks me in the comments, hey, how does this sound against the equivalent Klipsch speaker, the RP, I don't know what the number is. And I have to just answer with, hey, I've never heard Klipsch speakers yet. So Klipsch, if you're wondering or watching, hit me up. You guys are definitely going to be on my email list moving forward into 2025. Oh, and now Yamaha. My first component was a Yamaha stereo receiver. I adore their products. I probably shouldn't admit this, but back in the day, I only bought that stereo component because I was seeing a girl that I was infatuated with, and her dad was a bit of an audiophile and swore by Yamaha. So I was like, oh, my first component's going to be a Yamaha too, because, she likes that, and it never worked out. But since that component, I haven't heard any of their newer retro futuristic integrated amplifiers, and those look absolutely wonderful. I'm sure they sound great as well, but I would love to get those in for review too. Moon. Admittedly, I almost never think about Moon unless I go to an audio show. But whenever I do go to the audio show and the Moon Room, they are consistently the brand that's always playing good music. So they're good in my books and they look kind of cool. So yeah, Moon. I want to hear your stuff. Now, admittedly, I've had a few Q Acoustics speakers in-house, but because I'm greedy, I still want to hear everything. So I have the 3000 series, but they have a new one, so I want to hear those. I've heard the 5010s, but I want to hear the rest of the 5000 series lineup. I haven't heard their concept series, and there's two concepts. There's like the full-blown like floor standard bookshelf center channel concept. I think it's like the 50, 30, 20 or something. And then they have the Concept 300 and the 500. I really want to hear those just to hear what like Q Acoustics sounds like fully realized, if that's the word. I want to hear them all. So yeah, Q Acoustics. I'm going to be bugging you. PSB, they're proudly Canadian, and I unfortunately have only ever heard the passive speaker. And I only got to do that because one of the team members on the Secrets team did the passive speaker review, but they didn't do video. So I was like, hey, I'll do the video and just kind of mirror some of his thoughts and findings on the speaker while I just get to shoot some video and listen to them. But they are pretty awesome. I do want to hear the rest of their lineup, especially the Alpha series and that all colorful, I think it's the, oh no, what's it called? The Q something? They have a really colorful wireless speaker that looks like the Alpha speaker. I really want to hear that too. I actually have a few things from Kanto in-house, but none of them are speakers. They are all speaker stands. I have a bunch of different stands from Kanto at varying heights because I needed them, or I thought I needed them at the time. So right now I have the 9-inch, I'm looking right over here because that's where they are. I have 9-inch bookshelf speaker stands on my desk. The top plate is made for the Kanto speaker, so it's actually quite small. So putting a heavier speaker is kind of like a wobbly proposition, but those are there. I also have the 34-inch bookshelf speaker stands, and those are really good for bookending a desk or putting on other side of turntables or setting up bookshelf speakers in your bedroom where you are a bit elevated anyway, and so you don't mind having the speakers a bit higher or closer to the TV. So yeah, I wouldn't mind actually just hearing Kanto speakers. A friend of mine just bought a pair and he absolutely loves them, so I would love to get a pair in-house for review too. I usually try to stay away from streamers and DACs. I find discerning the differences between DACs arduous and painful. I really don't enjoy doing it, and I try my best to avoid doing it altogether. The other thing I don't enjoy doing is describing a user interface. It's just like, is it just going to be a video of me scrolling through things and describing how it all works and just, ugh. But Wiim has made a bunch of strides in producing affordable streaming gear that everyone seems to be raving about. So in 2025, I will commit myself to reviewing a Wiim streamer just to see what all the hoopla is about. My first pair of proper speakers was the Mission M32Is. So I am dying to hear what some of their new speakers sound like, especially those new retro futuristic kind of speakers as well. And SVS is at the top of my list when it comes to subs that sound great at an affordable price. Now, there was an opportunity for me to do a dual 3000 micro review, but it was eventually scrapped because someone on the team at Home Theater Secrets already did the 3000 micro. But, you know, it was a written review, it wasn't video, and it wasn't me. So hopefully they reconsider for the new year. But then also, when I do move, I'm going to probably, well, 99.9% invest in subs for my own personal use, and most likely very big subwoofers. So I guess stay tuned, and we'll see what happens mid next year if I'm able to move. And that's about all I can think of off the top of my head. If there's a brand or a product that I missed, please just leave a comment down below and let me know what it is. I will happily bug them for the duration of 2025. Thanks for watching. And there are a lot of brands and products that I haven't yet heard for the first... And I forgot to turn on focus mode on my computer, and I'm getting emails. And... Okay. I guess I'll just do this one live. I've been bugging Technics for the last year or so to get a hold of one of those Lamborghini turntables, and I just got an email saying, yeah, we're going to send you one. So there's that section taken care of. Awesome.